And we are live, folks. Welcome to the Arcane Apocalypse, a Dungeons & Dragons live play where our group of adventurers has found themselves flung 8 years into the future, into the year 2033, where the world has turned into this sort of crazy, wild, magical world full of monsters, full of flying buses, crazy people in leather gear, all sorts of stuff. And everything has been trying to kill them up until finally last session we made it to somewhere with a little bit of peace. Piccalilli Farm, where our arcane robot friend, Kai9X, finally has returned and mostly completed his quest to bring the temporal anomalies back to his master. The
quest is incomplete.
That is for sure. Alas, we had lost one along the way. But brought back to the master, the great Leon, as we've colloquially called him, but now know to be Leonardo da Vinci. Also, flung from his time into this magical future. Last we left off, the group was getting ready to set out on a quest to find our Dr. Hermes Sanguine's wife and daughter, or at least uncover the whereabouts of what may have happened to them in the 8 years that they've hopefully survived in this apocalyptic wasteland. Before we jump into the action, though, we're going to go ahead and go around, introduce the cast, and we're going to get our name, who we're playing, a little bit about who they were before the apocalypse, and then our icebreaker question of the week is, what is your character's favorite holiday or festival, and why? We're going to go ahead and start on the left and work our way down. And, well, let's hear it.
Nathan, I am playing Agent Kate Knox. He was a Brit suit before the apocalypse, working for the acquisitions division of the Syngeni Corporation. Very dark and, sort of mysterious work. And his favorite holiday or festival, it's not really a specific one. His favorite time of year is Yule, because a lot of holidays are celebrated around that time. And when it comes to work, there's just not a lot of people around. It's a quiet, contemplative time for him because a lot of people are off celebrating their holidays. The buildings are quieter. It's more peaceful for him, the solitude and just being able to focus on his work. And that's like his favorite season, holiday. Yeah. The holiday season is his favorite holiday.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jordan. I play Ro. Before the apocalypse, she was a robot personal assistant. After the apocalypse, she is a human bard. She doesn't really have a favorite holiday yet, but she did enjoy the annual Syngeni holiday party, which happened at the beginning of December before things got too close to the holiday. But she remembers that the employees would get pretty wild, and the robots would get pretty wild too. So it was a fun night.
I'm Curtis. I'm playing Reverend Himmelberger, aka Rev. Was a small town pastor and softball coach that becomes a Goliath cleric in the apocalypse. And let's see, my favorite holiday is probably Easter, for relatively obvious reasons, but I enjoy spring. It's a great time of year, and fortunately, we came across these young lamb, sheep, goat things after Seder, because typically you slaughter a young baby lamb for Seder. So I may have had to partake of that for religious reasons, but fortunately, it'll be more than a year old next year, so it'll be safe. So.
Is that why you wanted the goat so bad?
No. I mean, goats are cool.
Ogres just performing their Seder?
Yeah, they may have been.
We interrupted
we
their
interrupt
Seder.
the religious ritual? Oh, God.
Yeah, I should have recognized that. What a shame. Poor guys, they're just doing their thing.
I'm
there's
Chris.
still one alive, right?
I'm Chris.
Yeah, we killed his friend and left.
Oh yeah, we ate his brother, and I was anthropomorphizing his brother's dead body over my shoulder.
They were talking about the troll that's still alive.
Oh, the troll. Oh, yeah. All right.
I think he's a troll.
That's foreboding. I'm Chris. I'm playing Dr. Hermes Sanguine. My character was ex-special forces who became a doctor, a human fighter, and the holiday I definitely would like most would be Thanksgiving, because to be quite frank, it's not that I don't like getting gifts from people, but there's also no expectation of gifts. So there's nobody there where you're like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be here. Like, oh, yeah. And then on top of that, being able to just get around with family and eat way more food and like way more rich stuff, like pie, cookies, ice cream, all this stuff that you wouldn't cram into one day and then just absolutely pass out. Everybody's like, yeah, it's Thanksgiving. It was the turkey. It's my favorite holiday.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle. I'm playing Kai9X, the Autognome Wizard. He is a creation of the Apocalypse and was not around before it. His favorite holiday is definitely March 14th at 1:59 in the morning. Specifically, that is a religious moment for him, or at least as close as he's ever felt.
Friday.
That.
Bill just caught what I was talking about. Took him a second. He's like, what the heck
Is that the
holiday
Ides
is it?
of March?
On March 14th.
Yeah, Pi Day.
No, it's Pi Day. 3.14159.
Does he celebrate it down to the second?
He does, actually down to the millisecond.
The nanosecond.
Yeah, he tries to get to the femtosecond, but that's really hard to do.
His internal clock doesn't quite go fast enough for that.
Well, it's hard to
pies.
recognize that you've reached the femtosecond and then also will your arms to like celebrate in that same amount of time.
Yeah. Might have to come up with some sort of microscopic celebratory option.
I've run into that issue in different parts of life.
Yeah. Or maybe you just got to time it so that you get your hands to the very, very tippy top of the fist punch on that point. Yeah, something like that. All right. And with that, we'll go back to we'll pick back up where we left off last week or 2 weeks ago. And for a reminder, we had brought along a prisoner, done some interrogations, left him with Leonardo. Kai9X had bumped into some fans of his who were some of the younger, some children from the village. And I completely forget their names, but that's beside the point. I'm sure somebody has them. I'm sure somebody has them written down.
Yeah, Pedro Shields and Chad Walker.
Perfect, because I did not have time to get to the point where I remembered everybody's names that I made up on the spot last session. So, we also got some extra gear. Dr. Sanguine now has a shield and some upgraded armor. I believe Ro also has upgraded armor that we'd recovered from the fight as well. And we have our grappler back now. The plunger grappler gun that allows you to yeet yourself up to 90 feet across the battlefield. And then we pick up as the group heads out the front door, or I presume heads out the front door here after having just finished our conversation with Leonardo. Unless there was anything else you wanted from him before you head into the village to begin asking to see where any refugees from the area might have come from or gone to. See if you can find out if anybody knows Dr. Hermes Sanguine's wife or a kid.
Before we go questioning, I do have to ask, what would I know about the movements of refugees and things like that from the time of the apocalypse, given that I tend to study the remnants of those people's escape and migration?
Absolutely. You will know that generally people fled westward, or at least particularly later on. About 6 months in, it was pretty obvious that getting to the higher elevation areas of the country were at least somewhat less dangerous. You know, you were seeing all sorts of crazy storms and monsters coming from the east, at least relative to where we're at. And yeah, so that would be known for sure, that anybody who went east is dead, essentially, is what the general understanding was as far as that's concerned.
Okay.
And you would know that there is an army base nearby, specifically Fort Riley.
Okay.
And that it's entirely possible that people had made their way there to seek assistance. But that would be the kind of nearest major point that people might have gathered. And that is approximately only about 5 or 6 more miles west. There's kind of a Junction City is kind of the town that Fort Riley, in particular Camp Funston, is attached to.
Okay.
And that would be the nearest place that people kind of headed, and that there was kind of a sort of improvised camp made there, at least initially. But you don't know any real details. Last you checked, there's nobody there now.
Gotcha.
Anything else before we proceed? Any other questions? All right, cool. So we finally make our way out the front door of the wizard, Leonardo da Vinci's tower, and proceed down the lane past the church towards the farm complex that is now functioning as a small village for this group of survivors. And the scene unfolds as the group makes their way down the road. What are we doing?
Well, first I will, of course, tell the group about the possibility of the military base being something that might help. But I don't think that should stop us from talking to the locals.
I agree. First one, then the other on the way there.
be nice to get a lay of the land too, especially.
Didn't Rev, didn't you say you wanted to check out the church?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but I guess if Hermes' family might be close by, the church can wait. I know I wouldn't stop at a church if I knew my family might be close. So, there's plenty of churches. I'm sure we'll run into another one sometime. But I think I'm on board. Let's help out Hermes real quick, and it's a problem for another day.
Before we get into all this, Hermes, mentally, are you okay to find out whatever we're gonna find out?
I believe so. I am at least going to be able to make it there. I know that. Depending what I find out, might be a different story, but I have to try.
Just don't endanger the group.
Hey, man, this is a brotherhood at this point. You know what I mean? So It's like I
have your back.
Appreciate and take care of the people who had my back. I won't forget that. I promise.
What was the location of your domicile before the event? Was it nearby?
You could say that. It wasn't too far.
I did say that. Can you answer that?
It wasn't too far from the mall.
Circular conversation.
I find your imprecision vexing, but I hope that you can lead us to the domicile. Perhaps that place will provide clues.
Okay, if you think that would help.
It feels like
it's for you or something.
It seems logical that if your family fled, they might have left a note for you to have followed.
Okay.
Yeah. Giving you breadcrumbs of some kind.
And if they did not flee, it's possible that is where we find their bodies.
Things look much different than they used to, but I bet we could find it there. And I'm gonna also pretend that you didn't say that because I like you, little guy. But
I'm gonna also call back heroic inspiration for pedantic.
I appreciate that. I already have heroic inspiration.
Okay.
So.
Well, let's.
So we talking to these villagers before we leave, or like, what do we know?
It couldn't hurt.
Oh yeah,
They live around here.
Anybody that we see, let's ask.
Also, I've been meaning to mention this, guys. On the way, if you happen to see anybody with like violet eyes, just maybe point them out. They won't look like me, but if their eyes look like mine, maybe just point them out to me. They're I'm just looking for them.
You got it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
No problem.
Do we take notice of anybody, Bill?
So, yeah, it's about a 5-minute walk down towards the village area from the tower. Okay. And yeah, there's, as you approach the village here, having your conversation, there's you can see out in the kind of fields and gardens, there's numerous people working on various farming projects and gardening stuff, because it's springtime. They are actively working on getting everything going, and you got one guy who's out there heavily, like with a big old water bucket, and you see he's actually quite old, probably about 70 years old, and he seems to be tending what is a large patch of plants that are in some sort of greenhouse type thing. There's big bits of plastic tarp kind of covering it, and he's got the section rolled back as he's watering it and slowly moving on to the next section. You can also see that way off in the distance out in the fields, there's 3 or 4, actually there's 4 kids running around chasing each other. You can see that there's a couple people also out there who are actively following a pair of horses. They appear to be plowing and preparing a new field. And then there's also, you can hear voices and a bunch of what sounds like a bunch of banging and activity going on inside the big main barn area. And around the barn, it's kind of a big circle, almost arc of buildings. Many of them look to have been various, like, small farm sheds and buildings that would have stored equipment and tractors and things. And a number of them appear to have been converted into small homes. And the entire place, at least the buildings and a number of the gardens and areas are covered. There's the big metal wall, remember, kind of around the whole thing. Now that it's daytime, the main gate is open. So this is all what you're able to see with the opened gate. And the fields in the back are all separated off by a large chain link fence. And way down, kind of to the, from your perspective, the left of the fields, behind everything, there's also the orchard area that you had seen before. The trees are a little bit too dense to see if there's anybody over there.
I think we should ask the elder, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, if he survived this long in the apocalypse, then he probably has some something to share with us.
Should I knows, I mean, people would be familiar with you, right, Kai?
Yes, and while the children like me, many of the adults find me off-putting. Perhaps it would be best for you to have the conversations with the meat creatures while I see if I can divine any information from the weave.
That's what I was kind of getting at. I was going to ask who would be the best to talk to this guy.
So
thank you, Kai. Thanks for the input.
I mean, I live relatively in the area. I don't mind talking to him. Who knows? Maybe I even know him. You know what I mean? Or know someone who knows him.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor, so you know.
I mean, you're gonna know the most about your family, you know.
Yeah.
so
you said you live over closer to the mall, right?
Yeah.
So for reference, the mall is just on the western edge of Topeka. So it's literally kind of just attached to what is, I mean, now an apocalyptic wasteland of a city.
Yeah.
So real quick, while they talk to the people, I would like to ritual cast augury to see if we can, if I can use it to help determine which way is the right way for us to head.
Sure. What's the current text of that?
Sure. The current text of augury says, you receive an omen from an otherworld entity and the results of the course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The DM chooses the omen from the omens table. The spell does not account for circumstances, etc. So I get to ask basically one question, and you get to tell me whether the course of action would be good and bad, or neither good nor bad.
Aha, I see. All right. So you work on ritual casting that. That'll take you 11 minutes.
Yes.
And during those 11 minutes, we're going to go talk to the old timer, right?
Yeah.
Do you want us to roll up with you to talk to him, or do you want us to hang back? Because...
Oh, sorry. I don't mind. Yeah, I'd love the company. I just, you know, whatever you guys want to do. If you've somebody else you'd like to talk to, sure. But if not, then yeah, it might be nice to find out what we can from this guy all at once. Then it prevents me losing any information by playing telephone.
Fair enough.
All right.
Brad,
so
you want to go with him?
Yeah, I'll
So yeah, we're all going as a group to go talk to the old guy. So, except for Kai, who is hanging back and
Not
avoiding.
going to call him a meat creature.
And trying not to offset or upset the locals.
Nox
Uh-huh.
is going to hang back with Kai while he does his thing and just watch him because I'm fascinated by a robot doing magic.
Okay.
fair enough.
And so as Kai 9X sits down and starts doing his ritual, tapping into the weave, what exactly does that look like?
That's a good question. This is my first time having cast this spell, so that's a one that I haven't really tackled yet. I'd say that what it looks like is it's still a projection from my lens, but the projection is sort of like it's almost like life in fast forward as I sort of look ahead at the possibility of what could happen if we go forward and try to foresee it as though I was fast forwarding in the movie to see what happens in a half an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah, awesome. As it yeah, perfect. So and Nox is gonna kind of stick behind and study that and observe. So the other three of you, as you approach the older gentleman here, who appears to be watering a bed of plants of sort, he suddenly looks up and do my eyes deceive me? Is that people? New people?
No, sir, your eyes do not deceive you.
Well, that's good.
Flesh and bone.
They lied to me last week, and that was strange.
What you see last week that they were lying about.
I think it was a giant butterfly, but I don't know.
I've seen it too, man. You're not crazy.
Yeah, don't let them get you. There's definitely giant butterflies around here.
Those kids,
That's how they get you.
those boys told me that I was seeing things.
Nope. No, you're not losing it yet.
The damn whippersnappers.
Yeah,
Now-
kids these days.
Now, out of curiosity, we were wondering, do you happen to recall where maybe about 8 years or so ago, when the world seems to have turned on its head, where the refugees would have gone? I'm looking for my family.
Refugees?
Mm-hmm.
You mean people?
Yes.
Yeah,
Everybody was a refugee.
fair. I mean, you're not wrong. Not wrong, but where? Where?
Well, everywhere.
Was there a set
Scattered.
area?
People scattered to the hills. They ran for their lives. What would
Was
you
there a
do?
broadcasted
What would you do if
evacuation
people
zone?
in your house turned into monsters in front of you?
That's a good question.
What
Fair.
would you
Another
do?
fair question.
If you
For a
watched
Klondike bar?
your family members eat each other?
Okay. That old man, you got my respect. Holy,
There was no movement. Nobody went anywhere. Everybody tried to get the hell away from everybody.
damn. That's rough.
Sounds like 2020.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, man. Do you
That
happen
was
to
child's
recall?
play.
Do you happen to recall if there was ever any type of attempted evacuation zone, whether it fell through or not? I'm just looking for clues to where my family would run to. That's all. Figured I'd ask. If you can't help, I'm sorry to have bothered you, but I just you got to understand. I have to ask. Imagine if your family was out there and you still couldn't find them.
And you're still looking 8 years later?
There's a lot more to the story, but suffice to say, yes.
Where were you when it all happened?
Pushing them.
Why didn't you find your family right away?
I was detained for 8 years due to what happened. So I'm not really sure, but I started trying as soon as I was able to.
so glad I'm not there.
How do you mean detained? Like, there was no law.
Nope, not in that regard.
Hell, the army wouldn't even let people onto the base. They shot anybody who tried.
That's terrifying.
There was
Somebody
no
wanna help me out here?
communications. Everything shut down.
So
In less than 4 hours, we went from everything is normal to there's no internet, no phones, no nothing.
let's just say,
And you ask about where we evacuated to?
well, let's just say there was an individual or individuals who didn't turn into monsters and eat each other and didn't get shot at the barracks. Where might somebody go other than a place like this, maybe locally, that may have survived? Do you have any idea of some maybe other colonies or survivors?
I can tell you there's certainly nobody east.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Fair.
But other than that,
Do you guys do like trade with some other colonies, or
I don't know of any other colonies, son.
All right. Do you know anything about
We
the
know
military
of
base?
we know of no other survivors. I haven't had any contact with anybody except for 14 of us who live here in the past 3 years.
well, that's
All right.
Guys, we might want to.
Well, thank you for your time.
Try.
Yeah, I'm
somebody
gonna kind of like
else.
I'm gonna look at Hermes and be like, I don't think we're gonna get anything out of this.
Yeah, he brought up some fair points. So, yeah. If anybody else has a better idea of somebody to talk to, I'm happy to go. But if not, I guess we just go off the info we have.
I think it might be worthwhile trying to find your old
Now, what
place.
what was their name?
Sanguine.
You know, I mean, I don't know. That name's foreign to me. But I mean, you can ask around and see if anybody's heard that name or knew anybody. But
Okay. I appreciate that.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
All right.
Is there anybody else that's been here in this particular settlement, like kind of since the beginning, that may have run into people who've come through?
Well, I mean, I've been here the whole time.
Well, yeah.
We just haven't seen anybody in years.
Well, I know. But what I'm asking is, like,
Wait,
is there somebody else who may have run into somebody, and
I mean, everybody here is local. There's a whole bunch of people in the barn. You could go ask the rest of the folks. I don't know anybody named Sanguine. And we had a couple travelers come through 3-4 years ago. That was the last time we saw anybody
What did they
else.
What'd they
Oh,
look
there was a middle-aged woman and a little scrawny boy she had with her. He can't have been more than 12.
Did you say scrawny girl or scrawny boy?
Scrawny boy can't have been more than 12.
Oh. Well, it doesn't sound like my wife, but it also might be something you do.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
Their name, so they certainly didn't go by the name Sanguine. That's a hell of a name, kid.
I'm gonna like nudge Hermes and be like, what were their first names?
Katiana and Liliana. Katiana was my wife. Liliana was my 8-year-old daughter.
Katiana and Liliana. Nah, I'd have remembered those names. Sorry, I can't be more help, but do you all want to help me with the gardening here? I'm hoping we can have a record-breaking pepper collection in the fall.
Well, I'm actually allergic to peppers, so.
Well, you
I think
Probably
We were
don't-
going to talk about that. as your doctor, I need to know these things. But we'll table that for later. First of all,
Doctor, I need to know these things.
like, when was your last physical?
Probably.
I can't wait till
We
one of
should
our small
probably
components
move
contains
on.
peppers.
Yeah, let's move
I
on.
guess
Move on.
technically it's been at least 8 years.
Yeah, that's the joke. Oh God.
Guys, kill me. Killing me.
I don't know if dentists are still a thing, so I might as well pick up the slack. You haven't been flossing enough. Your gums.
Yeah, well,
Also, I just remembered, dang it, I forgot to switch the cameras around. Whoops, everybody at home. Hermes and Kai9X were incorrectly labeled. I apologize. Their cameras should now be in the correct spots.
Today I will be playing Hermes Sanguine. I mean, Dr. Hermes Sanguine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ooh.
Appreciate it.
Don't give me ideas.
body swaps.
No, I would never do anything like that in a
shit. That'd
campaign.
be actually kind of cool.
I would never do that.
Well, Hermes, I think should kind of maybe ask around some other place.
Yeah, let's ask somebody else. Somebody else pick the
You guys
next
wanna
person.
try-
I feel
you guys
like
want to try the barn? He said there were a lot of people in there.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
sorry,
you can hear like a whole sort of commotion. It sounds like banging and hammering. And...
I didn't catch your name.
Oh, I'm Edward Conway.
Edward Conway. Well, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you.
I'd shake your hand, but you're allergic to peppers.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
good man. Good man.
We'll let you get back to work. But
I'm not gonna water themselves.
fair enough.
Okay.
Maybe that wizard would give me something to help. Kind of starts muttering as he goes back to himself. Keep saying, "Go give me one of them robots." No robot for me. Dang, it's the robots in the barn, but no robots for me.
Sorry. All right.
Yes.
To the barn?
So who's barn? I guess. Like, what do you guys want to do? The barn? You want
The
to?
barn.
Do you want to? I know we're supposed to talk to somebody else. Maybe there's somebody in the barn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of noise and racket, so I mean, let's see what's going on. Worst case scenario is they don't know anything either, and we'll keep looking, but I think it's worth
So
worth
as
an
you
inquiry.
approach the barn, the kind of noises get louder and a bit more clear, and you can hear a number of different voices kind of hollering back and forth from across the barn as they're doing what sounds like some sort of work. And as you approach, who's opening the door first? Also, at this point, after that conversation, Kai9X's augury has gone off.
Great. I'm specifically asking about going to the Sanguine home, whether that is a good idea or a bad idea.
Going to the Sanguine home?
Yes.
As you consult the future, the kind of tape that you've been fast forwarding through begins to rapidly flash back and forth between blue and red for weal and woe.
Oh, so it's good and bad. Got it. But you're saying it's good, and that's what I'm hearing.
Silver linings.
This one hurt.
So what was all that, Kai?
I looked forward into the possible futures, and out of the very many permutations that could have happened and could have yet to have happened, I would say that there's a very good chance that we find something positive and possibly something negative if we travel to the Sanguine home.
Okay.
So
Actually, for context,
that's kind of like
you will find both.
I understand.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need a spell to know that like something good or bad could happen.
Well, it's something good and bad will happen. I can't tell you exactly which will happen or how good or how bad, but going that way will lead to both good and bad.
Do you wish to tell Dr. Sanguine?
I don't know that it would help the situation to tell Dr. Sanguine or the rest of the group. I think it's better just to suggest that we head that way and deal with what comes.
Agreed.
Uh-oh. I see you taking notes. Uh-oh.
And with that, the unawares members of our party join back up. Well, that
Hey, so are you
conversation
done?
was useless.
There we go. Yeah.
My ears are burning. Are anybody else's ears burning?
It is like sunny today. I don't have any sunscreen though.
Well, while you were away, I consulted the weave, and while I don't have specific information, I can tell you that heading to your domicile would prove productive.
Okay.
And certainly eventful.
Okay. Eventful could mean a lot of bad things. The ancient Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times, resonates loudly in my mind right now, but I will take any hope that you can give.
Well, I certainly do bear hope.
And for reference, your house is approximately 20 miles back east into the storm zone.
Yeah.
Ain't that the way?
Hi, did you say you bear hope?
Yes, as in I carry it. I'm presenting a hopeful outcome. Did I use the phrase wrong?
No. I just thought you meant like you feel hope, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, no, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I do not feel.
Okay.
I'm gonna poke Kai.
Boop.
Is there something I can do for you, Rev?
No. I was just seeing how you don't feel.
I am aware of physical touch of my chassis. I do not think that I feel it in the way that you feel when I do this, and I'll poke him back.
I understand.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's drastically different than how I used to sense when touch would happen to me. So I get it. But
did we get any information from the old man? Are we?
No.
Like, yes and no.
It was pretty
gesture to Hermes to explain.
In all fairness, the questions we had to ask the man had to have seemed strange and outlandish, considering how I'm just starting to look for my wife for 8 years. So he was understandable in his confusion, and he was pretty adamant that a bunch of people died, terrible things happened. Nobody really had anywhere specific they went. He did mention that the military base wasn't even letting people on there to shoot people on sight. Yeah, so he didn't mention any complete evacuation zone, anything like that. I would have said initially to check out the military base, but I'm not sure now, because it sounds like also we could check my home. So it's
I suppose that your temporal translocation would certainly make questioning about a cataclysmic but common knowledge event rather awkward. I suppose I should have said so, but I didn't think that needed to be brought up.
Okay. Now, out of curiosity, is the military base along the way to getting to where we need to go? No.
If where you need to go is your home, if that's what you mean by that, then it is the opposite direction. Fort Riley is approximately several miles west, whereas your house is back at Topeka. back all the opposite direction east, literally the exact same way you just came from.
Yeah.
You measure, do it officially. Yeah, it's about from Piccolilli Farm. It's another 4.5 miles to west to the military base, and to get back to your house, it's going to be roughly 50-ish miles back to your house. Sorry, I forgot it was 40 miles from the mall.
Well,
Good trip.
if this is our goal right now, I feel like it only makes sense to start at the home. Because, I mean, we might not find anything, but we could find clues or something. And if that's what we're aiming for, then that feels like the best place to start.
If the family photo albums are still where we used to hide them, then I'll know that she probably didn't make it out alive. But if they're gone, then I know she at least was able to go to the house and get them and leave. And that gives me hope. It's not a guarantee that she would be dead if they're still there. But if they're gone, I'll have a guarantee.
That makes sense.
Because obviously they said everybody fled no matter where they were. I still feel like no matter what, my wife would grab those. But even though she would know not. So.
If we're heading all the way out to your house, and your house is, you said, like 50 miles from here, we might want to procure some kind of transportation, because that's a long trip. But the thought crossed my mind, if we get some kind of transportation, it could be worth a 30-minute look at the base to see if there's any supplies that we could pick up along the way. Because I feel like that's a relatively small chunk compared to the whole journey.
I mean, if they're military and they'll believe my story, then maybe I could even get them to tell us how they're fixing cars these days, because then we could just fix vehicles that we already know are relative operating condition. We just couldn't get them to start as is. But
for also context, he didn't say that there were still people at the military base.
Sure.
He said there was nobody there anymore, but when the apocalypse hit, they were shooting people who tried to get into the base.
So I think it's deserted right now. At least that's what the guy seemed to indicate. So, I mean, it probably is ransacked and picked over, but there might be something, and if we have some kind of transportation, it might be worth a detour. But, I mean, I don't want to keep you any longer from your family if possible.
That's quite a way to travel, and we need to be prepared as possible when I realize that, because if I die before I get there, this has been for nothing, you know? So, I mean, I'm not trying to be reckless. I do want to head directly there, but I'm composed enough to realize that it better suits us as a whole also getting there intact if we have transportation, rather than having to hopefully find someplace out to, you know, seek shelter during the storms.
Speaking of transportation,
yeah.
Speaking of transportation, how big was the ornithopter that I crashed?
The ornithopter that you crashed?
Yeah.
Oh, wingspan up 1, 2.
I'm more worried about carrying capacity.
Like,
carrying capacity is as yet untested as far as carrying capacity for. There's only one like actual like seat type thing, but hypothetically it might be able to fly multiple people if it was functioning. The great Leon discovered that by using arcane power, many of his older designs were actually able to generate the lift and such that was necessary and was beyond the scope of what was feasible at the time.
Sure.
So
maybe you could ask him about working on a multi-seater, you know.
He did
something a
show you
little-
designs for number 2.
He did.
Oh, that's true.
I'm wondering if we could get the schematics for number 1 and head over, since it's on the way to pick up to your house. It's sitting in the woods on the way back to toward the mall. If we got the
We
schematics
did
from
strip some arcane gems.
yeah, I
Is
mean
that okay?
sure, but those are mineable both from natural deposits or asking the Great Leon if he has additionals.
That's true.
Yeah, that plan I feel like would be skipping the base though.
Yeah, and the base is likely to have it's likely to have vehicles, but it's also likely to have equipment like you know, a military base is going to be able to help our marshals out here.
Okay.
I
Hopefully.
I do think that the proximity of the base should take priority over preparing for the long journey back to Dr. Sanguine's house.
Oh, yeah.
And when it comes to that, I do not think we should rely on finding a vehicle. I think we should prepare for the worst of having to walk. So a vehicle would be a luxury, but I do not think we should count on that.
I'm going to propose an idea. Why don't we go to the base to try to procure a vehicle of some kind and resources? And if it doesn't work, then on our way back, then maybe we can pick up resources that we may be able to fix the fly thingamajig. What did you call it?
Ornithopter.
Ornithopter. I'm not going to remember that.
It's all right. I got you.
It's a pretty famous.
Like I said, I was a big fan.
invention.
I was a big fan of his work.
I have an
It's like
8
it's
intelligence.
I have one.
It's
In game, I'm not very bright.
when you Google Da Vinci, like the ornithopter usually pops up like next to his picture.
Yeah, right after the Vesuvian Man.
Did you
Yeah,
ever
it's
play
like the
Assassin's
most
Creed?
iconic.
Listen, I know a lot of his artwork and stuff, like the stuff that's in like churches and things, but
Yeah.
I don't like. Man, I barely know how to turn on a computer.
Well, I mean, you may not have that skill right now, but you don't really need it. So
Don't have to worry
Yeah,
about
that's
that
one
right now.
blessing of the apocalypse is I don't have to worry about all those things. I'm
you kids and your phones. Oh,
yeah.
You sound like a very old man right now, Rev.
Listen, I'm not tech savvy. Okay, it is what it is.
You sound like Edward Conway.
I'm an old soul. You know.
Who's Edward Conway?
that was the old man we talked
That was the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody told me his name, so
Yeah, it was, yeah. Sorry, yeah, it was.
this is a weird reference that everyone.
Oh,
stopped
him. You went and talked to
feeling,
him?
You had to be there
Did
for
he
it.
whine
It's
about
one of
his-
those things you
that-
gotta be there for it. It's
Did he
just,
whine that
you know.
that the Great Leon hasn't given him a robot yet?
Well, in a way, he was, you know, that's a little bit of flattery, right? You know, that he would love to.
Yeah, flattery that he
Sounded
wants to
something like
use
that.
one of my brethren for forced labor. That always feels nice.
Well, okay. I mean, I guess if you look at it like that, but a partner to help, you know, there's nothing wrong with a companion, robot friend. I would like look around to the rest of the group, like somebody say.
I'm just sidling off to the side, like there's that thing over here that I forgot to check out.
Oh,
All right.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So I'm down with tackling the military base. Let's do that. Let's see if maybe there's anything there. You know, who knows? Maybe with some of the credentials that I have, haven't been retired because they would have reactivated everybody. Maybe I can get in somewhere. We'll figure it out when we get there. But like, I think you're right. It is the first thing to do. It is the first place to go. We've been kind of just taking things as we find them. So
All
Okay.
right,
So to the base we go.
yeah,
to the
Oh.
base we go.
all right.
all your base are belong to us.
Maybe.
So we're not going in the barn. We're just gonna head to the base.
Oh, I forgot about
Like,
the barn.
right
We're
out.
right in
You
front of
guys
the
are
barn.
like
right
standing outside the
Okay.
barn.
Okay, let's go.
That's totally
go to-
fine if you guys want to just be like,
I'm feeling this really strong urge. I feel like I'm being called to go to the barn for some reason. So
you don't have to. You absolutely
Let's
don't
Let's just
have
go to the barn.
to.
Let's just go to the barn.
I'm not.
I rip open the front door.
I promise that wasn't a hint at attempting to railroad you.
That's
I don't know. There's
We
probably,
were right there about
That
to do
was-
it though. Like,
There's probably something really important for us to just know, right? I'm feeling this call to go.
I
to
mean,
the
also,
barn
I'm just
over-
curious.
Yeah, you
know,
step
we've
into
heard
the
there's
farm
noises going on.
and you fall into a pit trap and take 10d6 piercing damage to the spikes.
Could be worse.
Nifty.
I'm gonna
Okay,
cast
obviously.
Healing Word. You're still impaled, I suppose, but
Anyway, so after all of this intense discussion about whether or not we're going to go to Fort Riley or head back towards Topeka and Dr. Sanguine's house, we ultimately remember that we're still standing in the yard of Piccololi Farm, where there is a barn next to us making with a whole bunch of commotion on the inside. And as Dr. Hermes flings the door open, the state of the inside of the barn is a ruckus of a production line. It seems as though there are a number of kind of robotic arms and machines that are going about doing all sorts of tasks. Mostly, it appears as though, for the most part right now, they are doing a lot of cleaning out of empty jars and cans and food containers. And
What do these robots? Oh, sorry.
Yep. Yeah. So basically the entirety of or about half of the inside of the barn right now appears to be dedicated towards like cleaning and sterilizing and preparing all sorts of empty jars and containers. And then
Okay, so it's a canning facility.
canning party, yeah.
Yeah, pickling.
And Jordan, what was your question?
What do these robots look like?
Sure. A lot of these ones are much less humanoid than K9X, and certainly appear to be more along the line of current, like present day production, like an assembly robots. Two of them are really like big, basically just a big motorized arm that has little grippers and is rapidly doing things and pulling hoses and spraying stuff down. And so there's two that are like that. One appears to be much newer and more efficient and productive at its job, whereas the other one is looks to be made out of much more rudimentary materials. It's clear that one was the older model, as he had been kind of increasing his design quality, as we had already kind of noted previously last episode when we encountered D3. That, right? Or is it 3D?
No, I think it was 3D.
I think it was 3D because it was like 3D graphics is what I remember. Yeah. 3D, which was very much a much less sophisticated version of K9X, not capable of magic or real sophisticated thought in any way, shape, or form at this point, but functionally more of a unseen servant type entity as opposed to a full-fledged sentient being.
I'll head over to the robots that I lovingly call Clank and Jank, and start to interface with them in a robotic manner.
Right, absolutely. And for context, 9X, you are the only of all of your brothers that have really achieved full sentience.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're able to interface with them with like a little port.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that it's basically like the like a tape adapter for
Yes.
for old cars. You got like a wire and
Yes.
you stick it. You go there's like a little tape deck and you stick it in and punch it shut and hit play, and then you can start communicating to them and collecting basically data. Essentially, what you're able to do is interface with their logs and all of that sort of thing, and see what they've been doing since last you talked.
I describe it. Yeah, I describe it as a conversation, but really, it's just me scrubbing the logs and checking for what's going on there.
Yeah, and you leave little signatures behind.
Sure.
Yeah, you put comments in the code to leave behind for maybe some other sentient being that connects in this way.
Kind of cute.
Insider robot jokes.
Yep. Yeah, 011100.
No.
Yes, as you interface with them, the processing of last year's jars and cans is well underway, as there's not any food actively being stored at the moment, but really they're ensuring that all of the existing materials and everything are sterilized and dried to be ready to go for use again. And of course, at the same time, as you immediately run over to them and begin interfacing, the four people also who are in the room kind of supervising the robots.
That was real specious.
Yep, that's me. Specious against the robots. You know it. Always talking about them as unintelligent and stuff.
It's okay. When we rise up, we'll just remember that.
There's a movie about that. Don't watch that one.
Revolution.
I don't watch that movie.
Which one's that?
iRobot.
Has Kai9X?
Can you write a symphony or paint a masterpiece? And he's like, no. Can you? And it's like,
Oh, that one was a good one. That was a good
Yeah.
one. But anyway,
So,
so the people are also hardworking, doing a lot of the same stuff that the robots are doing. Because even though the robots are doing it, or at least some of the robots, particularly the newer one, is doing it much faster, the total output still matters, and they'd rather be completely done and be able to move on. And somebody's got to supervise them anyways.
Yeah, don't underestimate the contributions of Jank. He's still helpful.
Seems to be.
we talked to.
So-
Is there anybody,
so-
any of these humans that might look in charge?
Oh, absolutely. So, the group of four that are kind of working here in the jarring and canning facility. There also does appear to be some other food production type stuff going on. You can see that there are some other vats in the background, and there's also what appear to be like some large, what appears to be like some large kind of cylindrical tube structures and things. It's less obvious what all of that stuff is for, but there is one kind of younger gentleman who is walking amongst those. He's wearing a similar heavy leather apron and gloves and stuff to what you had seen the great Leon wearing. But he's walking around. He's got a clipboard, and he appears to be checking through all of the equipment in the back. Stops, looks at one of the containers, examines it, kind of wipes his finger off and gives it a sniff and makes some notes in the clipboard again. Then there is a pair of what appear to be twins, two ladies who look essentially identical. The only reason you would be able to tell them apart is because they are wearing radically different clothing. One of them appears to be wearing a light spring, like essentially a very light floral sundress. And the other one, however, is wearing all sorts of like greasy, grimy, kind of ripped up jeans and a black dark top, and has like a leather on, and you can see she's got a couple wrenches hanging out of her pocket. And then the last one is this what actually appears to be about a 9-year-old who is running back and forth amongst all of the people and the machines, and appears to be I don't want to say running back and forth, but moving around the room, almost checking and examining everything that is going on. And surprisingly seems to be the one that everybody is listening to, as he goes up to them and points and shows them a couple things that they're working on. And they nod and murmur along and move, and then he moves along to the next person or robot and checks along with stuff. And you guys take all of this in here in about the first 30 seconds as Kai begins to interface with, you said, Clank and Jank?
Clank and Jank.
Clank and Jank.
Seems like that small child might be in charge. Should we go talk to him?
He is.
Oh,
Okay.
What's his name?
You're gonna make me come up with one. Okay, fine.
Now, you were gonna answer if you want. His name is Gilbert. His name is Gilbert Floyd.
His name is Gilly.
Okay. Let's ask Gilly what's going on here.
Oh, he hates to be called Gilly, by the way.
If you didn't say
What's his name?
it was absolutely gonna happen.
What's his actual name? And don't say meat creature.
No, this particular meat creature goes by the name Gilbert.
Okay.
His parents call him, well, the adults in the area call him Gilly, but he does not seem to like that.
I swear, 9X, if you call me a meat creature again.
Hey, Gilbert. How's it going?
You're these temporal anomalies I've been hearing about, aren't you guys?
Yes, sir.
What they call us.
That's what he calls us.
We're going to go on a perilous adventure. We're wondering what's going around here, trying to see if we can find things that could help us or find information that could help us along the way. I don't know what you could help with, but anything.
You don't know what I could help
my wife
with?
and daughter. Yeah. I don't know what you're able to help with.
I'm able to help with damn near anything.
Okay.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Damn straight.
Yeah. I should have known better. My apologies. I'm looking for my wife and daughter. About 8 years ago, I'm not sure where they went. That's ultimately what I'm doing. But we also need to be able to travel.
8 years ago, huh? You think?
How old were you then, Gilbert?
Well, aren't we the ageist ones?
Well, I don't know. I'm sure you've talked to people before and heard their stories of how they got here, where they went first. So, I mean...
I'll have you know I'm 52 years old. Thank you very much.
Wait, you're 52?
Yes, I've been Benjamin Buttoning ever since this damn apocalypse started.
Oh,
Oh, no.
sucks.
I suppose I should
That's
have
the
mentioned that.
worst.
Oh.
That's-
Hi.
That's actually
All right.
awful.
All right.
So-
Well,
Sorry.
I'm terribly sorry that's happening. I would love if you'd be willing to help me. I'm just trying to find out some information, maybe where we could get some vehicles or some supplies, or just where my family would have wound up. Anything.
Well, you're looking for vehicles or supplies? You know, vehicles have a tendency to kind of go bzz, bzz, boop, right?
Is there a way to get around that, or is that like a set thing?
Best we can tell, anything with the circuit in it, electricity, and or any chips, kind of
Okay.
doesn't work so well. So if you could find some vehicles that don't use chips, maybe something real old, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, we use wagons and like the horses that are out back if we need to go harvesting the local area for supplies, if we on the rare occasions that we go out. But we don't ever venture more than a few miles,
Oh, it's true.
and only at day. Well, the wagon.
Yeah.
Could we borrow one, maybe? If, like, we promise to bring it back?
Why, of course. I mean, that would certainly be acceptable. Now, you know, you can't take her out at night. Horses will get spooked. Those arcane storms.
How far of a
That's
trip
fair.
is it to the military base?
Well, Fort Riley's about 5 miles from here.
Okay.
Although the military base, what? That's where you're trying to go? I mean, sure. You might find some stuff there. I thought you were trying to see your family. I don't think they're at the military base. That's for sure.
Well, there might be vehicles there that we could try at least first, and supplies to bring with us.
Well,
We're a little undersupplied.
vehicles. Yeah, I think that could. Maybe there's something there, but I will say, last we knew it was overrun with monsters.
Oh. Okay, this is good to know.
There's nobody there, but last person who came through told us they saw hulking shapes moving. It's a pretty big base. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Maybe
Took the tour once when I was a kid.
So,
Got a bunch of killer museums.
how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
When I was a kid. That was like 30 years ago.
No. How long ago was it that somebody showed up and said, "Hey, monsters over
3 years
there."
back.
Okay. So it could have gotten considerably worse, or could have gotten better.
Or maybe both.
Maybe.
Maybe both.
so,
Different.
so I
Oh,
don't
we're going
know.
a different direction, but
What do you guys think? You know what I mean? Like, when it comes on down to it, you're helping me on this quest. I need input.
I still think that given the distance that we have to travel, the equipment that could be procured at the military base is likely valuable to our cause.
I don't think this changes the initial plan that we have set up.
Yeah, I mean, worst case if we get there and we find out it's overrun, but I think it's worth. I mean this by, I mean no offense, and I'm looking for my family too, so I totally understand. But I mean, a few hours isn't gonna. I probably not make a difference when it's been 8 years. You know.
Listen, if
That
we
might
don't
be-
have the things we need to survive to get there, I get it.
Yeah,
Then
might be invaluable
it's
to
a
us
waste. So
Also, it's not like the rest of the way to your house isn't also overrun with monsters.
yeah,
Fair enough.
we're gonna see them.
Very good point, Kai.
So I suppose the better equipped we can be, the more likely are we to make it. So
now what kind of equipment are you looking for here?
I mean,
I mean, got any
fully
tanks?
automatic rifle might be nice.
Tanks, automatic No, I don't have any tanks. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for tanks, your best bet is Fort Riley, sure. But
In
Wait, really?
seriousness, we're looking for transportation, possible any sort of armaments that we can carry with us, and supplies for traveling.
right. So
Still Fort Riley.
tanks and automatic rifles. That's what I'm hearing. But what kind of armaments are you looking for? I don't exactly have weapons. I mean, Leon's got a whole bunch of random random stuff, and what we do have for weaponry is really not. We don't exactly have an arsenal here, you know. It's a farm, but we can help with food, provisions, clothing, those kinds of supplies. Absolutely, we got.
All right.
And transportation, we've got a wagon that we can lend you and a couple horses.
Now, if the military base is
find-
overrun with monsters, do you guys think we should take a wagon with horses there? Or is that a bad
I do
idea?
think if we find supplies, being able to carry stuff back
Yeah.
is going to be more important. And worst comes to worst, if it is overrun,
Turn around and come home.
exactly.
Or-
Yeah, we don't put the animals in danger.
Or Danny DeVito style, I just started blasting. I mean, I might be down depending on what we're seeing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, suppose it depends what's there.
Yeah.
How bad it is, but I mean, I think, like what you said, Knox. I think, I mean, if we find some cool stuff, I don't want to be carrying it all the way back. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't find transportation there, I'm gonna find transportation there. But
Also, you know, if we find anything that Leonardo could be of use to Leonardo or the townsfolk, it's
But if it's overrun with stuff, I mean, as long as we're careful, I mean, there might be some hidden goodies that people aren't maybe fond of venturing to get. So
yeah. The thing with that is if there is stuff there, the chance is that place is probably overrun with stuff that is keeping those items safe.
no, I understand.
If it
I
was-
understand. But
If you could just walk in, that
Now
place
you know
would have been
this
looted
place
already.
is
a
huge,
military
right?
base.
Y'all know this place is huge. Have you ever been there? It's like
Can't say that I
it's like
have.
150 square miles.
There are some secure areas in every single military base that would require pretty high level. Like,
You know, you got
Certification
Camp
get inside.
Funsen, you got Camp Whitside, you got Fort Riley proper,
Well-
you got the airfield.
And when it
Do you
comes
have a
to
map?
security measures that you're used to, I would mention that most of them ran on electricity and other physics of that worked in your time that no longer function. So
ooh,
I have found that the most of the time, what you used to think of as secure locations are some of the most easily accessible.
that's fair. Well, I mean,
all
let's
we
check
can do
it
is
out.
find out.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's check it out.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So we'll take that wagon, Gilbert. We appreciate the help. We'll bring it back, and we'll tell you what we see.
And
I
I'll,
appreciate the help.
now, as far as a map goes, I think I might have one from. They had a driving tour. I might have one somewhere, but I'd have to go looking for it.
Okay. Why not? It might help to have a map. Know where we want to go.
Now,
So we did just gain a bit of new information that this is not a Walmart sized like fort that we just walk into and like go shopping.
Yeah.
This is a massive undertaking if we are walking in there with no real direction.
That is
That's
true.
why I want the map, because if we're going to be looking around in certain places, I want to have an idea. You know, I'm not going to be. I figure supplies and stuff, or more weapons, or different weapons, or more ordnance, like more ammunition, or any of those things. Those are all going to be in one particular area, judging by the map. And then, go ahead.
I just want more to the point of I wanted to make sure that everyone is still, well, first off, aware of that and still on board with said plan.
Oh, fair.
Where did you Where did you serve?
Me?
Yeah.
I served in the special forces, so there was operations in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Dude, I mean,
So I primarily served over there. I could speak Arabic, so they were pretty happy.
what I'm saying is, did you spend any time at Riley? Do you have any idea of like the lay of the land since you?
So I think I might have been here once or twice, but honestly, when you're in the military, you move around so much. Unless you spend some decent time in one place, and you don't always necessarily remember. It's been also 8 years, and now it's. I mean, you look around, and you're like, what even is that tree?
Yeah.
So it's a lot different. So it's hard for me to say.
Sense.
So you would remember the general layout of the place as far as knowing
Okay.
for context, like roughly where the airfield is. Like that's going to be the first thing you get to is going to be the airfield, and then there's the couple camps like Camp Funston and Camp Woodside are kind of your main post, and then back behind that is going to be all of like family housing and stuff like that.
Okay.
But the whole place also encompasses a whole bunch of like more slightly remote or sparsely buildinged areas that are used for training and stuff like that.
Okay.
So let me see what I've got here for you for a map.
Did you say there was a museum as well?
Yes. So there's a number of museums that are like on it because Fort Riley started out as a historic, like it was like some historic buildings, like the Custer House and stuff like that, that eventually turned into the Army base. So there's the U.S. Cavalry Museum is there. There's like some historic monuments and stuff like that. So yeah, so there's a couple like specific smaller museums. They're not gonna we're not talking like Smithsonian giant museums, but like smaller,
the type
smaller
of place that might
specialized type
showcase
stuff.
older military vehicles.
Quite possibly.
Okay.
The specific
That don't run off chips because they're older military vehicles.
Yeah, some old
So-
World War One or
Yeah, well, anything
Worth
really.
taking a look at is what we're hearing.
yes.
So museum for sure. Army for sure.
There was all sorts of old. He tells you, there was all sorts of old like tanks and stuff and things along the driving tour that like they've got it just like parked out here like tanks from World War II and stuff like that. I mean, this is where Big Red 1 is housed.
Yeah.
what's Big Red One?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing. I don't know.
They were
what it is.
badasses, man.
Out of character question or in character question?
In both.
Both. You never heard of Big Red 1? Why? I mean, they're the first of the first. The Army. They're in everything. They're the best infantry division we've ever had in the country. They were in World War II. They were in just about damn near everything. Korean War, Cold War, Vietnam, Gulf War. Out of character, there was a Call of Duty game named after.
Yeah,
like a whole ass Call of Duty was called Call of Duty Big Red 1.
it was a good game.
Gotcha.
Never played that.
They're pretty much like the go-to big Army infantry division. Like they're Army infantry number 1.
Yeah.
Like they've been around forever.
Okay.
And it's a very historic base and stuff like that. As a result, so they deploy with basically everybody. So they're usually the first Army division that's going to get deployed in any sort of engagement. Generally, there's a war. Big Red 1's the first ones to mobilize. But yeah, so there's like the training facilities and stuff like that, and at this point. We've all agreed that that's going to be the plan. We know it's dangerous. We know that there might be some old vehicles that are useful. And you can get, if you want, you can definitely have a wagon and horses to get you the 5 miles there and back. You just had to promise that you would return before nightfall because they don't want their only horses to get electrocuted in an
how
arcane
far off is
storm at night.
nightfall? This is first thing in the morning, right?
This is this is early morning.
Oh, okay.
Like
cool.
this is like an hour and a half after sunup.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
I think
So you would definitely have time to go 5 miles, fight some monsters, and spend an hour or two there, and then
Okay.
ride 5 miles back, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, for context.
Gotcha.
So that'll be the plan here. Is there any other? All right. Do we want to interact with anybody else here, or are we pretty happy with what we're at? We'll leave everybody to their jobs, and
I think we got the information we need as far
Yep.
as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I think a little bit
think
time is of
it's
the
time.
essence. So
and
think it's
Gilbert
time to
says, "Yeah,
actually-
I can get you them horses there. It'll take me about 10 minutes to get them pulled back in from the task of the day. Don't worry, we're ahead of schedule."
Hey, thanks,
Well,
man. I
then,
appreciate that.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Gilly.
Ignore him, please. I'm sure you already do. Kai.
All right, everybody. With that information, I think it's pretty clear where we're heading. Do we want to waste any more time talking to any more people, or
I'm
Oh,
good.
when you say it like that.
it seems?
Hey,
like,
you think this was a
we're
waste of
gaining-
time talking to me?
No. That's not what he's saying.
I think
We're saying you.
you gave us enough of what we needed that we don't need to waste any more time.
Best conversation ever.
Mhm.
Best conversation ever.
Gilbert,
That's what I thought.
Very helpful.
we do appreciate you.
Best
do we need to
conversation ever.
provide
That,
food
is that
for the-
bloviating? Is that the right word for it?
Kai, we'll talk about this when we get home. Okay.
Understood.
And with that, we will be back in 15 minutes, folks. And I think I've got button. And we are back, folks, here. After our little break, the party has spent a few minutes gathering up supplies and now stands with our a whole manner of foodstuffs and some extra clothing, and you're also able to find some, and you are welcome to some farm implements and tools that you could utilize as improvised melee weapons, but they didn't have any proper weapons that they were willing to share. So if you wanted to say, like, grab a pitchfork to use as a trident or things of that nature, you're more than welcome to from the pile of old farm tools. And I believe we have some people who can prestidigitation / mending them up to shiny, perfect usable order.
Certainly.
So that is an option here while you await Gilbert to approach with your wagon.
Can't imagine any of those having finesse, right?
Well, if you find like a short blade, a machete sort of situation, you might be able to call it a short sword.
Yeah. So worth taking a second and opening up the equipment list in the player's handbook to see what finesse options there are. The big one is rapier, short sword, scimitar, right? Kyle, I believe those are kind of the
Sounds right.
rapier. I know for sure is the best. So if you
rapier is the best if you want to attack with one. If you want to hold only one weapon at a time, it can't be dual wielded, but it does do a D8 damage die.
And we already know you want to use a shield, so the rapier is. So you're probably looking for something that can function like a rapier.
Or unless you're planning on going with the two daggers style approach you were doing before, in which case a short sword can be dual wielded with either a dagger or another short sword. So your choice is
And would
there.
a short sword have have finesse?
It has finesse. What's more important for you is you want to make sure something has the nick property. So
my dagger does.
Your dagger does, and a
Short
scimitar
sword.
would.
Scimitar. Okay.
Scimitar would. A short sword has vex, and so does the rapier. So, for you, the better options for dual wielding, you're going to want to have either one of a dagger or a scimitar, and you're going to want to have.
Oh, the dagger has nick, or I'm able to make an extra attack.
Yes, nick is important for making the most attacks possible.
Yeah, so if you're trying to do the dual wield strategy, which is doing lots of attacks, then you're going to want to go look for a scimitar and a short sword or something, because you just get the extra attacks out of having either a short sword either a scimitar or a dagger. So you could go scimitar, short sword, you could go short sword, dagger, whatever, as long as you have either a scimitar or a dagger in the mix. If you're not planning to go dual wielding, which is what we had kind of sounded like you were doing as you had just acquired a shield, you were really worried about your AC.
Oh, yeah.
You already know that you can use a firearm with your shield, and you can't just drop the shield to switch to dual wielding. Not as fast, right?
That's true.
So that's why we were leaning towards not. So rapier is probably what you were looking for, because you
finesse.
There's definitely some machetes and stuff, but I don't know what sort of farming implement might function as a rapier.
I mean, you still could do a short sword. It would still be better than holding a dagger, especially, and you can still use it without dual wielding.
Yeah, so you definitely can have there's definitely some machetes that can function as either a scimitar or a short sword. Your choice.
And neither of those have finesse, though, right?
They both have finesse.
Oh, then yeah.
They just don't do as much damage.
We are
they're
only
there.
discussing finesse weapons.
Okay,
they are there.
Do I get to roll for it, or just get it?
No. There's a pile of farm implements. You're welcome to rummage amongst them. In character, out of character, I'm telling you, they've got pretty much whatever you need. It's a whole pile of stuff that they've accumulated over the years that they've just never bothered to make functional, or K9 hasn't cleaned them all up, because it's just a pile of old rusted farm tools.
I'd love to find a rapier or a scimitar.
Yeah.
But,
so I'm saying you've got a scimitar for sure. Okay. I don't personally know of a farm implement that would count as a rapier.
But that's fine. The scimitar works.
You tell me. You could have a scimitar, a short sword, both, whatever. There's a number of machetes and short-bladed instruments that you can add either to on your sheet.
All right,
My recommendation would be a short sword.
You don't need to look for. I'm just telling you.
I
You've
will
already
grab
found
a short sword. I will grab a Machete that can be a short sword.
Yeah. So you're gonna. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll add that.
Yeah. This was us trying to summarize past the looting part and just go into you have the shit. All right. So, anybody else having any weapons that they're adding from the pile? We're all good. Okay.
Don't think so.
So as K9 is mending and prestidigitating your new machete into a good serviceable order, and we're all kind of standing around waiting for Gilbert. Is there anything we want to say to each other? Any last thoughts before Gilbert shows up? No.
I don't think so.
And as the final polish on the blade happens, you hear the clopping of horses approaching from down the road towards the. It was actually coming from towards the church. Yeah. Give me them. Let's get them coconut sounds. I don't have quick access to change a bunch of sound effects today, so we're getting generic farm background. As the horses approach, and you look back up the road towards the church, and you see the pair of horses pulling behind them what appears to be a large, well, to be honest, it appears to be a large, big, old pickup truck. Like, and realistically not actually that old, relatively speaking. We're talking like an early 2000s F-150 with the top basically ripped off of it, being pulled by this pair of horses.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Okay.
And pulls up. So the two horses come quickly to a stop. Here we go. Best wagon we've managed to work up so far.
All right. Well, thank you very much there, Gilbert.
What are
Know why I expected an actual wagon. Did anybody else?
I did suspect, but
Yeah.
what
Mind
are the
you-
horses' names? The horses, what are their names?
Oh, why their names? We got Helen and Edith.
great names.
All right.
Which one of you guys? Which one of us
Absolute
is best with
delights.
horses?
So that would be an animal handling check, is what it would be considered. But as you are thinking that meta question,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no apologies necessary. Gilbert looks at y'all and says, "Now, y'all know how to use a wagon? I assume you know how to drive too, right?
I think we can
You do
manage.
have to steer both the horses and the steering wheel."
Seems easy enough.
Okay.
You gotta do it like on a little bit. You steer the horses first, and then you steer the wheel to kind of follow them. It's you'll get the hang of it. If you're going straight, it's easy.
Makes sense.
Can figure it out.
Yeah, I think we'll manage.
Yeah, we tried some other options, and well, this is the best we could come up with.
This looks great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, who wants to drive?
I mean, I don't mind being an armed guard, but if I'm driving, I won't really be able to pop up if anything goes on. I'll be in the middle of
holds
driving.
the reins out. Anybody? I'm not taking you.
Horses find me more off-putting than humans do.
Yeah,
I've
no
never
shit.
really worked with horses.
All right. I'll reach out and take the reins.
Okay.
Unless you, no. If you want to, go ahead.
I don't necessarily want to, but I'll do it if you don't want to.
Yay!
Let's flip a coin. That always works for me.
Got a coin to flip?
Yeah. I'm gonna reach into my back pocket and pull out my wallet.
I haven't seen one of those in years.
Hey, I'm gonna like open it up and like shake a couple coins out. I'm like a quarter.
Yeah, we melted all of them down.
Do you want me to?
What
Yeah, go.
coin?
I'm gonna flick it and then I'm like, called in the arrow.
Call it in there.
Call in the air. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads.
That's a heads.
Winner, chicken dinner. All right, you get to pick.
Do it.
This
Do
is
it.
The worst. Okay. Yeah. I can. I'll try.
Fair enough.
I've been around horses once or twice.
All right.
Okay.
Who wants to drive? How do you keep my hands free from a gun?
Rev, can you stay close by in case I'm really bad at this?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll give it a go. I guess I'll jump in the driver's seat then. If you want to take the horses, and worst case is it doesn't work, we'll just switch, right? We'll figure it out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so Ro's gonna drive the horses from the passenger seat. Because this is like a wagon, like there's like the reins behind.
Gotcha. Okay.
So for context, he was doing both from the driver's seat, both steering the wheel and doing the horses. But he's like, you might want to.
That seems
I
difficult.
Well, you do one and then you do the other.
Yeah, it's probably not that bad.
I'm good.
It takes a little getting used to, but I mean, yeah, you're more than welcome to split the duties.
Going at horse speed, it probably isn't too bad.
All right, so Rev hops in the driver's seat, grabbing the wheel, and Ro hops in the passenger seat, taking the reins. There is no windshield. There's like, you've got some metal sticking up on the sides, and there are side windows in the doors still somehow. But
Nice.
almost like there's somebody here who can cast mending.
Something like that.
Fair enough.
I try to keep things fixed up.
A wizard who does the same too, but is less inclined to come out and mend random shit nowadays.
Oh.
That being said, I'm also less inclined now that I have actual purpose as opposed to constantly being reset all the time.
And you returned free to go do this? Yeah. To join the group, and he was like, hey, you don't even have to do work. You don't even have to work for me anymore. Go hang out with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You're a real boy.
I'm not.
Inside you are, though.
Not a boy.
Oh.
Not a girl.
So,
A 9.
how do we
You're
get
in-
there?
Oh, just continue back along the highway. Go back to the highway. Go and follow 70 west. Takes you right by the airfield. You can go right in Henry Gate.
All right.
All
Takes
right.
you right
Thanks,
past
Gilbert.
takes you right past the visitor center. I'm sure you'll see all the monsters there.
All right. Well,
I mean, I'm assuming that's where the travelers a few years back saw him, because that's the part that's by the highway.
well, we'll play that part by ear. I'm gonna look at Ro and kind of look at everybody else and be like, guys hopping in?
Yeah.
Sure.
You want to take point, Knox, or should I? Somebody should be watching the back and the front.
I'll take point.
All right, I'll take the back. Take rear guard.
All right. So as you all climb into the shell of this F-150, it is a crew cab for context. So you do have 5 seats technically, and then the bed of the truck that you could chill in. So when you say you're in the back, taking up the rear guard, do you mean like you're hanging out in the bed of the pickup truck looking backwards, or?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, it's the only way that I could be facing backwards.
All right.
I would also be in the bed of the truck, but just facing forward.
Yep.
Oh,
leaving the-
dude.
Doing the like looking out over the top. Oh, there is no roof.
Yeah, that's
There is the metal bar along the back is complete, like kind of going up to the roof, but it's kind of like a whole top
Perfect.
forward chunk is there. So you've basically
Okay.
got like part of a roll cage.
Sweet. Yeah. So
Nice.
I'll set up on that, and be standing just to have like a higher point of view, as we're traveling.
Yep. And
Because they're gonna be staring at like horse asses while they're steering.
trying to figure out how to drive this
Yeah.
thing in tandem.
I'll be at the
Oh.
back, crouching cover over the tailgate.
It's nothing.
Um,
It's nothing new, Knox.
And
Um,
9X,
as
are
we-
you
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm just gonna sit in the back.
back seat?
yeah.
Okay. Nathan.
As everyone's like getting in, I'm gonna go to the back and like where Dr. Sanguine is like standing by like the tailgate. I'm gonna climb up, and I'm just gonna kind of like stand like shoulder to shoulder and like look out like behind the cart with him.
Mm-hmm.
And just like look over my shoulder and see like everyone's like doing their own thing and whisper to him, be like, "Hey, I know what you are.
What's that?
I think you know what I am too. We're not like them.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I'm ready."
I respect that, brother. I respect
All right.
it. You know, when
We're
things
gonna-
go to when
we're gonna
things go to
keep-
shit.
We're gonna keep them safe,
Mm.
so we can all be safe no matter what, right?
I got you.
All right. And I'm gonna hold out my hand for the bro handshake, yeah. And then
Like in
I'm gonna
Terminator.
take my post. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Iconic
yeah,
80s.
Predator. Yeah.
Predator, yeah. Yeah, and then so have that little moment, and then go take my post.
Hell yeah.
All right. So while you two are having your sentimental bro moment, acknowledging that you're the 2 murderers in the group,
Yep.
the rest of the crew inside the car is just getting here going on our driving. So for Ro, this is going to be an animal handling check, and for Rev, this is going to be a land vehicles proficiency checks. That'll be dexterity and proficiency with land vehicles, specifically cars. So do you have your driver's license?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way we're doing it here is everybody who has their driver's license is automatically going to have the half proficiency,
Okay.
and then any more skilled driving skills would actually require having some in-game proficiency, like you actually have like experience with specific high intense driving type scenarios, which we could, for most people in the group, I think probably not super relevant, except for maybe Hermes if he had training to do like any Humvee driving while in combat or stuff like that. He might have some formal proficiencies, but we'll get there when the road comes. So yeah. So if you've got your driver's license, you automatically have I think at this level it's +1.
Yeah. I was a professional driver for a little while. That was my.
Yeah, you have that in your backstory to have the proficiencies and
Sight.
everything.
Like
From
IRL.
I meant in your character.
I mean, I'm fighting myself now, but
So okay,
Same name as your character.
yeah,
I think
I'm
either
kind
of
of
the
playing
robots have
myself.
driver's licenses.
did you ever drive the car? Like for?
I used to
No, I
drive an
never
F3. I used to drive an F350 as my personal vehicle.
That's similar, yeah. Either way, this we'll give you at the very least the +1.
It's all good. Yep.
We're not. So go. You guys can each make that roll. So it's for both of you. It's dexterity plus the relevant proficiency. I think you might have to do that custom for
Yeah.
the animal handling. Jordan, actually, no. The animal handling one can be either the wisdom or dexterity. I think on the character sheet it shows it as wisdom, right?
Ouch.
Yeah.
So you can roll instead of that. You can roll the dexterity check and add your proficiency if you're proficient in animal handling.
Okay, so then a dexterity check and add
Plus
Add-
2.
+2. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna do that.
It's been a minute since I've driven a vehicle that doesn't have power steering.
Yeah, that's power steering right here and here, baby.
Yeah, when we start off, it's a little bit bumpy. I wasn't ready. I had forgotten how difficult it is to drive a vehicle that doesn't have power steering.
Especially one that was intended to have power steering and doesn't have like a giant steering wheel or other mechanical things to compensate for
It's
it.
like
Yeah.
it's like wrestling a grizzly bear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Try rolling it again, I guess.
Are you seeing mine pop up?
Let me.
Did it
I
pop up on
I don't currently have the.
It didn't come through. I do see it in my. I just see that you made the check, but not what the outcome was.
That's what's showing up for me too.
Should I try again?
Yeah, give it another try.
Sometimes for everyone, even if it's already selected, if you reselect it, I think it'll fix that.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Hold on. Might
I
have to-
see.
She's refreshing.
Yeah,
her,
sorry, y'all.
I see a dexterity save. You do want to make sure you click dexterity check, not save.
I see. I see the check.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, I did save.
Oh, I didn't click save. I clicked
Oh,
check initially.
Kurt did save.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Then ignore that.
Sorry, I saw the R and I was looking for yours. Popped the thing open. I'm like, I see 2 dex saves.
Okay.
Nope, but
That one.
So yeah,
check
so there
has
should be
gone through.
checks. Yeah.
Then it would be +2 then.
So 15.
All right. So you succeed on starting to make your way. However, it almost it's real lurch and go, as Rev does not seem to be able to get a great handle on his, as he had described, the not having that power steering. It's real tricky trying to keep up with the horses going around corners and stuff. Plus he's trying to time it to kind of like follow the turn after the turn and not turn before the horses, because then it's a whole mess.
I am not in
He's
sync with
figuring it
Rel.
out.
Not at all.
I'm not in sync with Rel.
So getting out, the fortunately it was on the road, already pointed in the correct direction, and the road to the highway is a farm road. It's mostly straight until you get, but it's straight north, and then there's a big curve, huge curve, and then a sharp angle to get back onto like the actual like highway. So once you get to the highway, it's real touch and go. You get ka-chunk off of the road on the side because Rev doesn't keep up with it at the turn, and you initially just kind of steer. The horses are going all sorts of After about partway through the big curve, though, Rev finally gets the hang of it. After, but just as he gets the hang of it, and the wagon, quote, begins to lurch forward, I'm gonna need the two gentlemen standing in the back
Sorry, guys.
to make dexterity saving throws.
I was waiting.
So go to dexterity saving throw.
Sorry, guys. I didn't see that pothole.
I got a
If
16.
I have the little dot checked, does that mean I get to
13.
roll twice?
That means it'll give you the proficiency. It's going to include a +2 for that because you're proficient
Oh,
in that.
sweet. So
How am I now proficient?
I think
Dexterity.
I can
Goddamn.
roll better than that because I've got a 20. So 25.
Yeah,
I got
a 13.
14. It said 14 on my screen, or was it 13?
Mine says 13 on you.
13 there. Yeah.
13. So we got a 13, a 16, and a 25. So yeah, when the wagon finally lurches forward as Rev finally manages to get hang of it, of the turning. Everybody in the back seems to be fine except for Dr. Sanguine, who is facing backwards. And suddenly, as the truck lurches, your shins just catch on that tailgate as your face begins to tumble out and right over. You manage to take just enough of the tumble as to not take any damage from the fall, but it's real embarrassing, and you are now covered in dirt.
You fall out of the truck.
Yep.
Face
'Cause
first and got dragged.
He was
for a
because he
second,
was
pop back
he was
up.
looking backwards out over the tailgate.
Can I do an acrobatics
and the
check
truck
to
and
avoid this?
the truck. So that's what that was. Well, I'll give you an acrobatics check to see how well you recover from it after you
Okay.
land.
Okay, acrobatics.
When you fall down but get up really gracefully.
Exactly.
Like
the
a cat.
The dex save was for you to not
16.
fall out of the truck. Yeah, you managed to absolutely, as you like land and tumble, knees kind of busted up though, but you managed to do like a full somersault and get back to your feet, and you're like just standing behind the truck as you see it finally start to take off at a more steady trot, or whatever is not a gallop yet, canter. I think that's one of those horse words.
Yep.
Canter, yeah. You don't
One of
want it
those
to be
horse
gallop.
words.
That's fast.
Yeah, gallop's like 40 miles an hour. I know that.
Yeah.
I know
So
technically
I'm
the
running
difference
after him
is,
like, guys,
I know,
wait up.
yeah, I know technically the difference is in like which hooves are landing first, or
Yeah.
like a gallop is all four end up in the air at the same time. I know that, but either way, it finally takes
That's
off,
a
and you
good-
holler out. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a good exit strategy. That's nice. Like the jump and roll is very, very effective, but try not to hurt yourself before we start the journey.
It's just
Hey,
practice.
back there?
Just practice.
It- so those
I'm like
clean-
climbing back in the
like
truck
clean-
one. It was just
clean roll,
practice.
fellas.
Just practice. That's right.
I'm gonna dust your shoulder off a little bit.
He meant to do that.
Yeah, I meant to do that.
I am gonna need you to do an athletics check though to climb back into the moving truck.
Okay, athletics.
As you are running after a truck, as the horse has now finally started to
I got
actually pick up
a-
some speed.
I got an 18 unless I had advantage, and then I got a 22. But
Yeah, no, you do not have advantage, but
Can I
yeah,
help him get
you
back in?
managed to just get, and as you're catching up. Oh yeah, if you're helping, then he does get the advantage. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
That'll get the help action to get the advantage 100%. So yeah, as you're almost catching on, and Agent Knox just barely manages to get his arm out as you catch forearms. You don't catch hands. You know better from your training than to grab hands, because that's no bueno. You grab wrists or forearms,
Yep.
right? And you guys, and you both know this. You both know this, right?
thanks, brother.
Oh yeah.
Had to do that. That was on purpose.
No, it's good to keep everyone on their toes, emergency protocols and whatnot. Yeah,
Mhm.
Training
Wow,
exercises.
yeah,
It was deliberate. It was deliberate.
I meant to do that.
I'm gonna slowly walk back to my post and just kind of like over the shoulder, like look at him, you're like, "Do you mean to do that?"
You mean to do that? Uh-huh.
Fuck, I hope he doesn't. I hope he thinks I meant to do that.
After you make it up onto the highway and begin a steady pace, it takes you really only about hour, not even an hour. You have to do some zigzagging along the highway here and there. Can't really take off at full speed, but yeah, you're pretty easily able to make it in an hour uneventfully, as the highway begins to pull past a large fenced area where you can see what is clearly the Marshall Army airfield. And you can see what appear to be wrecked remains and husks of, for the most part, helicopters kind of scattered throughout the airfield. And there are a couple small planes as well, but nothing significant. Most of what's on the field are helicopters, and really about a dozen or so. And amongst the buildings and the hangars, you could hear rumbling, echoing sounds resounding kind of throughout a couple of the hollowed hangars that are still mostly intact, that you can see really only about, they're only about 200, 300 feet away from the highway. The only significant thing separating them from the road is a number of chain link fences. You know that if you were to head down just past it to the next highway exit, that would be your where the visitor center is, and the kind of main drive, Henry Drive, that goes past the airfield and up towards main post and the rest of the base. What are you doing as you see the airfield in sight here?
I mean,
We can stop you a quarter of a mile out here before you actually get close if you'd like to do anything or say anything.
I think it's a good idea to come up with a game plan. Where do you guys want to go first?
I believe
mean-
we should assess if there's any immediate threats before we do anything else, because
You said there was noise coming from a hangar, right?
So there's 2 hangars that are fully intact of the 8 or so. The others only have partial roofs and structures remaining. There are also significant chunks of the fence that are broken down and busted open. The entire place looks to be a wreck, but yes, the 2 intact hangars, you can hear noises coming from them. What like rumbling sounds kind of reverberating throughout the large hangar.
Knox is right. We should make sure whether or not there are any threats around. But how do you guys think you want to approach this? I mean, me personally, I'd at least go and check out the hangars while we're on their way, so that we don't have anything showing up behind us. We explore deeper. But
Yeah, and
I say we secure the cart and horses somewhere safe, and then go in on foot and recon, and then determine if we want to move further down and sort of relocate the horses and cart, and then make our decision from there. But
Sounds like a plan.
Definite primary assessment of the situation is in order.
Yeah, so as you see the base, well, we could actually wind back about half a mile away from the closest corner of the airfield. There's a road that crosses over the highway, or crosses under the highway. Is it over? It's over. Crosses over the highway, and so that overpass would make a potentially good shelter. Right as Route 18 crosses over I-70.
Okay.
So if you wanted, that would be a potentially somewhat discreet location that you could park the wagon and horses underneath that. If you didn't want to try to deal with pulling them off of the actual road itself.
Okay.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And then that gets you, like I said, about half a mile away from the closest corner of the airfield. And you obviously don't necessarily have to go all the way down and around to the visitor center if you're not using the road necessarily.
Okay.
So actually, the map that I've provided you
horses.
guys has 18 on it.
Yeah, I'm
That little, it says K18. That's that spot where I'm
Gotcha.
talking. So you could leave it there, and then you can see where the pink starts is the field. The actual airfield itself is a little bit farther in than the pink, like where the actual tarmac starts. There's like a big kind of grassy field area at the start of that, where that closest corner is. So yeah. As we tie the horses off in the underpass,
Everyone
what's the
loaded up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Loaded up and ready to go.
Real quick, Rev, do we have any more of those carrots in your bag?
Yeah, I got a couple. And just pull them out and hand them to you.
I'm gonna feed the horses before we go.
Oh.
Oh yeah. And go ahead and give me a normal animal handling check as you do that.
Oh boy. So good.
I mean, nothing bad happened. This was just the horses both hesitantly take the carrots from you. They don't have any significant negative reaction, but it didn't. It seems though they were not exactly aware that it was Rev's fault. That the driving didn't go so well at the beginning, so they might. So you were not able to do a whole lot to assuage them and secure additional friendship with them, but they do readily eat the carrots.
Just staring at me.
I've never seen a horse begrudgingly eat a carrot before.
I
I
have.
don't think they like me.
I think that horse is giving you the side eye.
Yeah. What did you do, bro? No, I mean, like, what did you guys do? Like, it was really bumpy. Right.
I'm not exactly sure. But we got here.
But did you die?
You almost did.
I almost did. I almost did. Just on purpose.
Anybody
That's
else see
totally
that?
different. Nope.
No, I heard some noise back there. Was everything?
Just some maneuver
No,
practice.
Just some
Makes
equipment
sense.
calling and dropping.
Oh,
you know?
okay. Well, Hermes.
Go check
you
out
have,
the hangar?
Yeah, you have an idea? I mean, you know more about this
I
stuff.
don't want
than-
anything to show up behind us. That's all.
Makes sense.
You know, so check out the hangar, like I was saying.
Yeah, let's move.
All right, let's do it.
quickly, and we can. Do you want to take point and I'll guard the rear?
Yeah,
On the
I mean,
approach.
I'm a little bit familiar with the area, so I mean, I'll definitely take point if you cover the back.
All right, everyone, between us, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Lead the way.
So, you lead the way. Are you crossing, like kind of cutting across where the fence is broken to cut across the tarmac? Or realistically, there's like a parking lot and then there's the hangars. So,
Is there any kind of cover along any of these entryways? Because if there isn't, I'm going to try to get across as fast as possible in a beeline. You know what I mean? Cut straight across the
No,
tarmac.
there's no
If it's
cover,
just so
then
open and there's no...
Here,
Yeah.
give me 1 second
No
here.
stopping at the visitor center?
I agree with that.
Maybe when we're done.
I might have snacks.
Maybe
Yeah.
if you're good, we'll go to the visitor center.
I'll try.
There.
I always hated hearing that as a kid. You'd be like, what?
Is dad energy one of your traits?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. In the screen share there, you guys should be able to say it.
Oh.
Okay.
And where are we?
You're coming from the top right corner of the map there, where the you can see my mouse, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this road, this overpass here is where you're parking the wagon and horses.
Whiskey
And
Lake
heading
Road
down
sounds fun.
here, right? So as you come down along the highway, you've got basically these two hangars. Actually, no, sorry, it's not those two. It's this one and this one are the intact ones that you hear the noises coming from.
Okay.
So there's really not much cover. There's parking lots and other like open tarmac and field. I mean, the grassy areas and everything is all overgrown and stuff. So there's
Okay.
some very, very low-lying foliage.
I say we just go for the beeline straight towards it.
Just going straight for the nearest one. Just basically
Because if there's no actual like solid coverage to cover our entrance, then I would just the fastest we get across that tarmac, the better, because it prolongs our chances of getting spotted if there is anything to be worried about. If there's cover we could use in order to get there, that's reasonable. That would work for us. Then sure, but that's what I say.
You're leading, so
Let's do it.
Lead the way.
All right, beeline it is. So we're just going to move as fast as we can.
All right.
Fast as we all can, or as fast as Knox
move as
can?
fast as the slowest person.
Yeah, like a wolf pack, move as fast as the slowest person.
We're going to space out and move as fast as the slowest person. All right.
Sorry.
My ability to move very fast should not be the standard of movement that this party needs to uphold.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just, it's okay, everybody.
All right.
I'm just picturing you running circuits around us, like on your left, and I'm like, stop.
Alrighty. So as you get in, you getting closer, you start to hear the kind of rumbling sound start to obviously get louder and louder as you approach the hangar. Are we're just going for the nearest one that's got noise of the two?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Can we tell
Oh.
what kind of noise now that we've gotten closer?
You sure? Go ahead and give me
is there
perception
any, like,
checks.
is there any like
Perception
difference?
You got it.
Is there any what, Nathan?
Perception.
I was like, is there any noticeable difference between the two types of noise as we approach?
Good question. We'll include that in your perception
Okay.
check.
I hit a 17.
I got a
17,
14.
14, 18,
22.
and a 22.
Mine sucked.
Got a nat 20. on
There we
perception
go.
check.
Nice.
Okay. So the sounds are both organic in nature for sure. It doesn't sound like machinery,
Okay.
or vibrating, other than the echoing off of the space.
Does it sound like? Oh, well, I don't know if I
Ask the question.
Does it sound like people walking around in there, shambling around?
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't. It sounds more like. Go give me a. I mean, Ro definitely can tell that they sound different for sure. They don't sound quite the same. One's a bit more kind of high pitched, and that's the farther one. Ro, give me a survival check.
Survival?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's a 9.
A 9.
So good.
Damn.
Okay.
So good.
So your initial check, you can tell you're pretty sure. It sounds awful reminiscent of like a really, really echoey version of a noise one of your clients used to make all the time. Usually when he would fall asleep in the bathtub, it kind of gave you that vibe. Like the noise that his mouth and nose would make when he fell asleep. Almost like
Okay.
a snoring sound, but much bigger than what you remember. But with that kind of survival check, you got nothing beyond that.
Ooh.
So it sounds like there might be like a giant snoring in there.
What?
A giant?
Okay.
Oh, well, we should open the door then and see that.
You know, snoring is like not a thing, right? Like it's not like a tangible object. Like you said, a giant snoring.
He's using
He's
giant
taking
as an
giant as an adjective, not as a
and
noun.
snoring as the noun rather than
I
rather than a
very
noun and a
large
gerund. Oh my
being
god.
Oh
that
goodness
is
gracious!
that is sleeping and making sleeping sounds that one would call snoring.
Mhm.
That's ridiculous.
That's what it sounds like. That's
I
all
want
I'm
to say that's ridiculous, but we've already seen a butterfly that looked like it was a Boeing. So
Oh, it's certainly not
Ah.
ridiculous. It's certainly quite possible that there's a giant in there, and I definitely want to see it.
Hi, can you, your little buddy?
We wouldn't even.
Oh,
need to
sure, we
cast
can
it.
send in bits.
is Bits
that would-
stealthy or like is it gonna just bumble in there?
I mean, he's fairly stealthy.
Okay.
His stat block is that of a raven. So
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, let's check it out first before we go bumbling in. I mean, I might be able to sneak in there a little bit easier than somebody else, but that's just
Well,
because I'm
let's-
familiar with the layouts.
okay, is there a way for bits to get in? Like, is there a skylight or a window or
Oh,
something?
absolutely. So you're coming at them from. Let me double check. Oh yeah, I put the map on the share screen window. Duh. I'm like looking at every monitor except for the one that I'm sharing with you guys because I normally do not put the map there. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple small windows on either side of the main hangar door up super high. There's also a couple vent, there's like a little vent here in the roof.
Okay, but they're open, like open air.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send bits in there.
Alrighty. So as you send bits in, how far away are you able to see through his eyes?
That's a good question. I have to look up the spell. Find familiar.
I would assume we would have moved
Uh,
within that range before.
Your familiar must be within 100. Oh wait, no, that's the touch spell one. Telepathic connection. Yeah, 100 feet.
100 feet. So
Yep.
you're gonna go like right up to the hangar itself.
Yes,
'Cause, like,
we'll stay close to the hangar.
Yeah, the hangar is gonna be approximately 300 feet long and about 150 feet wide, 125 feet wide.
Gotcha.
Hide behind a helicopter while he does this.
All right.
So
I mean, if
will-
you want to run around the other side into the airfield, you're more than welcome.
No,
I don't know that
I assume
one.
you guys are
Oh, we are on
approaching
that
from.
side. My
You
bad.
guys are approaching from Marshall because that was the fastest route.
Yeah, you're right.
So
I
you
think
guys
we're
are.
good just hanging out behind that.
so
Yeah.
I'll set myself up by casting minor illusion in the shape of a barrel, like a large industrial barrel around myself, while
Okay.
I'm using his, so that I'm undercover while I'm using his senses.
Sure.
As Kai does that, Nox is going to walk up as he watches you do that spell, and I'm going to hold my palm out and one of my implants is going to shine, and it's going to like a laser grid is going to scan your minor illusion, and then I'm going to point it about like 2 feet to the left, and then like shoot another one out and cast minor illusion.
Learning how to use the spell.
Yeah, mimicking you. My implant does it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's new.
That's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
Make barrels now?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
I guess.
Is that real?
poke it. No, it's what I think it's what Kai does. He did the tree thing and back on the road, and
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
I think it's the same, but I'm not really familiar with any of this, so I'll let you know more.
Yeah, it's all Greek to me.
Don't you know Greek-ish?
So what am I seeing through Bits's eyes?
So-
Christos. Lepto Christos.
As you, all right, to describe it in a way that K9X would recognize, it appears to be a very, very large purple and bluish six-legged creature.
Insect in nature?
Furry and kind of feathery.
Furry and kind of feathery.
With 6 legs.
Oh, there is some sort of arcane creature in there. That is certainly true. Or at least
And it appears to be slumbering deeply.
oh, it's so cute it's sleeping.
Sorry, actually, it's not. Sorry, it's not furry. Just double checking here. It's actually kind of scaly. It almost appears to be a giant, like big old, like 6-legged, lizardy, salamandery type thing.
Wait, did you say wings or no wings?
No wings.
Okay.
Does have a giant head and mouth though, and you can see it as it like yawns. And like you can see like massive rows of razor sharp teeth in the thing's mouth.
Do I see any sign that there's equipment or vehicles in this hangar that would be of interest to us? Because if not, we probably should just check the other hangar first.
The creature is nesting on a wreckage of husks of airplanes.
Yeah, that
Like
doesn't seem
pile of broken airplanes.
okay. I'll pull Bits back out at that point. That's enough information, I think.
You do see a couple little like Humvee type things off in the corner, but you also see those scattered around the place.
Yeah, doesn't have to be there. Got it. Okay, I'll pull Bits back out. There is certainly a sleeping creature in that space. I'm not certain what sort of creature it is. It had 6 legs and scales. I haven't seen anything quite like it. I'm going to add a little note to my my index about that.
Yeah, I would estimate that it was probably from nose to the tip of its tail somewhere in the range of 80 feet long. If you include the tail,
That's big.
if you don't include the tail, probably about probably closer to, sorry, not 80, 40. Sorry, 40.
Still is big.
Right?
That's T-Rex big.
40. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely bigger than a T-Rex.
Definitely bigger than a T-Rex, he says.
Okay.
That's
So like,
As that's reassuring.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that's
Knox kind of like, okay, big scary creature, and then you say like the size, and you're like, nope. with you guys. I thought it was gonna be something like, you know,
let's check the other hangar.
like car size, not.
Yeah, that's big.
It's snoring loud enough that you guys could hear it from a quarter mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What do you mean? Yeah, but
There's not really a but there. Yeah.
I mean, it was being amplified by the echoing of the hangar.
Perhaps
But
so.
yes. So what? We're moving on to the next one.
I think I think we're gonna check the other hangar.
Leave it alone for now.
Goodness.
It's not a problem yet.
No. What's gonna end up happening though is we'll get in a fight with whatever's in the other hangar. It'll be loud. It'll wake up the crazy thing. It'll come busting through the wall on us. That'll be our luck. But we'll wait.
I don't
until that
like
happens.
leaving things behind us, but I think I'm willing to make an exception this time to not start a fight with the giant
Yeah.
fucking.
Hey, Doc,
What's
Doc.
up?
Six-legged salamander.
What's up,
I'm
Doc?
gonna reach into my I'm gonna reach into my jacket, and I'm going to. You're gonna hear like something like click. I'm gonna unbutton my side holster, and I'm gonna pull out the silencer.
Okay.
I
Okay.
had a spare, and it's not serving me right now. And this might be useful right now, so you can borrow this. I'm gonna hand it to you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's definitely going to come in handy, just in case.
Knox, that feels like some really solid attention to detail there.
Hey, I already have heroic inspiration.
Ah, gotta
I
try.
had a chance to use it soon.
Good thought.
Bunch of humans.
That was nice.
Like they get it just for sleeping.
So we move to the next one
Yeah.
to repeat the similar mission. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as you get closer to the second one, go ahead and everybody can give me another. We'll say another perception check.
Ooh, 20.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
22 with a nat 20,
Yeah, we-
baby.
Solid.
So
Damn, y'all.
definitely sounds like
rolls.
there are two distinct different entities snoring in this one.
Also snoring though.
Everybody,
That's
yes.
good news.
everybody
yeah.
be sleeping o'clock.
Two additional,
Mhm.
like two.
Hmm.
Oh god.
They may not be the same creatures. Let's find out.
So there's two entities
I'm
in this
so
one.
curious to see what's in this one.
Dude.
I'll send bits in.
Another creature that I don't think you would have ever seen before here, 9X, but you see actually, or a pair of creatures. One of them, they appear to be two creatures of the same type or species. One of them is probably in the realm of 12 feet from foot to head. And then the other one is probably like 30. And you see, but they are two creatures that appear to be sleeping, kind of like one is holding, the larger one is holding the smaller one. And you
Oh, they're
see
cuddling.
a big, basically, it looks like a big ball, a whole massive ball of white and black fur.
Panda.
But like a monstrously large panda or something. We'll see.
That's exactly what it is. 40-foot tall panda.
That's not terrifying or anything.
It might. Yeah. Okay, I'll explain to the group what I just saw.
I don't know if you've ever seen a panda.
No, I don't know that I have. Maybe in a book or something, or in a movie. But I
Kung Fu Panda. You know, you
Kung
probably
Fu,
came across
sure.
that movie.
sure. So maybe I've seen a panda before, but not a 40-foot tall one. So I'm gonna say something like, "I'm gonna need to update the index of the Arcanozoological Index back when we return to the tower later."
I don't like the sound of this.
Yeah. Do we want to start a fight with these things? They're all sleeping.
Is there equipment in there?
Somebody.
Yeah, was there anything?
I didn't
Um,
think to ask while Bits was still in there.
The one with the pandas actually appeared to have two intact airplanes.
An airplane.
Intact airplanes.
Airplanes.
is something else.
Military
That is something else.
planes.
Sure.
Okay.
We're gonna have a hard time landing them. You know,
We might
unless
be
they're
able to
Landing
find all
them,
the stuff
flying
elsewhere.
them, all the other, all
I'd be
the
able to
things
find
about
all
using
objects.
them might be tricky, but you do have two.
Consumables.
Uh,
You jump.
Actually, sorry, they actually would be. Sorry, they actually would be helicopters. It's an army base. They don't do planes.
That I could do.
It
We're
would be,
gonna
it would be
jump out.
helicopters. So it's 2 helicopters. Sorry,
I think there
Special
are
forces, I believe,
helicopters
get
that are not that are.
they ride in
inside,
other
that are
people's
not
airplanes.
inside
but
this hangar.
I mean, that could be useful. We could use that. I could use that.
okay. So let's enter the. Are we going in there with the pandas?
But aren't there helicopters that are not inside this hangar
yep,
that we could?
Oh, but are they like all run down and destroyed?
you'd have to go check.
Oh.
There are other hangars that are not fully intact. Like there's parts of the roof missing and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Those ones don't have the sound of snoring giant monsters in them.
Yeah.
You guys, I just wanna
There's
point
also
out
the-
that we have
Rest of the airfield in the whole facility too.
True.
we have now assessed what the noise is. So objective complete.
Yeah.
What is the next objective now?
Yeah. Good call. Let's keep.
Moving from here because I don't think it's going in there or trying to fucking. And I'm whispering this, but like, I don't think it's going in there and like
Trying to
killing
start a
these
fight.
creatures.
No.
Exactly. Like,
Okay, but in terms of travel, wouldn't of I just think maybe a flying vehicle might. I don't know. Kai got kind of struck down by flying bugs last time. I'm a little hesitant to fly in the air at all.
Would
It might
these
be-
helicopters have armaments though?
What are you gonna carry?
A
Fucking
nose
mounted
machine
gun.
gun. You know what I mean? Like I got a Vulcan on the bottom of it. That butterfly.
They also are going to use electronics.
as I feel like
Mm,
You guys are missing the whole thing. These are modern
Gosh,
helicopters. I don't know why we're
Tech doesn't
obsessing
work.
over them.
Okay.
because it sounds like it would be cool. That's all.
It's cool to
does.
note that there are 2 functioning helicopters, or helicopters that at a glance appered to be not broken.
Yes.
Okay. We can save that information
They're
for later.
true.
Get supplies and then focus on this.
Flintstones helicopter guys. That's-
Yeah.
Everybody's just on
what's
pedals.
next?
Just.
Agent Knox just like dashing every round.
Let's go. All right. All right.
Okay,
I guess. What do you guys want to do?
I think we move along. I don't think
Okay,
we
let's
need
do
to
that.
pick a fight
If,
for no
if
reason.
there's not
yeah.
stuff for us to take with us, there's no reason to.
All right, so move down, check the other hangars.
Sure.
Let the inner Luke Goblin free.
And
So,
next session, we will let the inner loot goblin free on the Arcane Apocalypse.
All right.
And we will see you all next time.
bye.